Hello everyone, my name is Joe Standard, and this is Module 4 for EDL 853. This is Special Education Interviews. So real quick, a few things to start with. We have new administration here, so a lot of the things that they were discussing, they had to kind of learn on the fly. So it was a great experience to get to, see from the perspective of a new administration of how they have to learn to how about special education. Also, our special ed teacher that I interviewed, he just got the position of department head, so he had a lot to learn as well. So a lot of the answers are kind of taken from the perspective of new administration, new department chairs. And like I said, I learned a lot, and I can't wait to kind of check in with them later on to see how they improved. There was a lot of connections that were made from the last assignment that we made that we had to read over that I thought was really cool. Like learning, trial by fire, and uh, I thought, these guys are having to kind of learn as they go. So on the first part, on child find procedures about identifying students who are special needs. So some things that we do here in Winfield is we do screening. So screening can start from the time they're in kindergarten or even our early learning center where they offer free screenings for young students. So it helps them to get identified. For the upper grades, we kind of have to look at things like behavior, grades, how they do on their scores. Then it's the teacher's responsibility to do modifications, documentation, be in contact with the special needs teacher, and then we get what's called a sit team, okay, which we all kind of come together and discuss the student, what we can do for them, and whether or not they need evaluation. Okay. We also offer a brochure, online brochure to help parents because if they choose that they want to have their student tested, their child tested, then they have that opportunity as well. A lot of the things that the administration and special ed teacher kind of overlaps a little bit here and there. The administration had to really dig and look. They know we do things, they just didn't know exactly how we did them. And our special ed teachers kind of learning a little bit more about it because usually it goes to the school psych and she kind of dictates, what our next steps are. So we kind of get them near the end of that period for identification. When talking to the para, she talked more about close interaction, guided teaching, listening, and watching for behavioral patterns of speech development. Okay. And also a lot of observations. So whatever she sees, she kind of reports back to um, either the special needs teacher or school psych and let them know, hey, I'm seeing these. We probably need to make a change either for their upcoming IEP or maybe it's just something nobody has identified about that student yet. So the para does play a big role in monitoring the student because a lot of times they are with that student for a good majority of the day. So they see the student in and out, understand their behaviors and what makes them go. Some of the most challenging things, and this kind of harkens back to what was discussed in the previous assignment. The administration said, laws, knowing the law, knowing what's expected of you, what we're supposed to give this student with special needs. It is important that we learn the laws and how it applies. They also talk about, it can be different depending on what, district you're in because each district has a different policy that needs to be followed as well. So it's not just state and federal. It's what the local school board said is effective as well and doing what they're are asking you to do. Okay? And another big thing, and this kind of thing goes with not just with special needs, but a lot of things being understaffed. It does affect what you can do as a building, and it affects special needs really well too because we're understaffed, so we can't hire a lot of paras. We don't have a lot of paras, so we can't help a lot of our kids with special needs. Also, getting those teachers in that can work with students with special needs, who can work with the modifications, and who can build those relationships with those students. Okay. When I talked to the special ed teacher, he talked about how one of the major issues that he has is finding appropriate places to put students with behavioral emotional disorders, and how hard it is to find a good combination because you can't put them all in one class, together with one teacher. Working with another teacher, finding out what's going to work with that placement. He also talked about how difficult it is to, find certain trainings for them so they can be ready for life outside of high school, and getting them those trainings, getting them prepared for life outside of school, and a lot of personality conflicts as well with them. It's just finding what meshes the best way possible and working with that. And talking to the para, not having enough time to work with the student, and to kind of build that relationship, give them the support that they need. Time is always something we're always battling, whether it's in the classroom or in the hallways. Students, it just feels like we just don't get enough time with them, and we want to continue building those relationships, helping them out, making sure they're on level ground. One of the most rewarding things, administration identified being part of a team and a goal effort. You know, working together to ensure that a student is successful is one of their most rewarding feelings. That we all came together, that we helped the student out, and they are going to be productive in society. When talking to special ed teachers, it's kind of like hit me right in the heart a little bit. Hearing that he made a difference was one of the top things for him. Hearing from a parent who emails him saying how that special needs students doing in college, or special needs students that can contact him and telling him, hey, what can I do? This is my next step. Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do? And working with them, once they leave high school, just knowing that they're doing something positive once they leave here, that he's made that difference, that they are productive, that they're happy, that they're not going to get in trouble. With a para, talking to her, celebrating the small successes. It could be a smile or a thumbs up that the student understands it, just getting those clicking moments, and just having that understanding that they're getting it, that they're having fun with it, that education is not just a chore for them. Because a lot of times it can be a chore for our students depending on how it's been set up for them, what their experiences are. But when they see that, just that light bulb just click, she loves that. With supervision of paraprofessionals, speech pathologists, administration suggests that you build up a relationship, a nice working relationship, so you can have great communication, that you can work to better help the student or students. And our administration here are real big believers in relationship builders, and that it is important not just to build a relationship with students, build it amongst your peers, amongst our other staff members, but so we can have that open communication and we can work for the betterment of each and every student. Okay? And they also suggest, they should be seen, as a student. They should be, well, I should say they should be seen with the student. They should be there with them, to help to advocate for them. Okay? Our special ed teacher talks about, giving paras ownership of what they do, giving them a direct, kind of letting them talk about, what are they comfortable with doing, what subject would they like to go into, but also working with them to maybe go into those rooms that they're not too comfortable with, that they know that they're going to struggle, and only because we're short staffed, so they're going to have to go into those rooms that they're not really comfortable with, and kind of being flexible, able to work with each other to say, hey, I don't understand this, what can we do? And being proactive. He tells his paraprofessionals, be proactive, get in there, ask questions of the teacher if you have to. If you don't understand something, ask somebody. When talking to the para, she talked about giving adequate breaks for paras, because a lot of times our paras are overworked. There's not enough break time for them to actually like just take a deep breath and kind of unwind a little bit. It's just pretty much the day, especially when you're dealing with like elementary school para, where you're just straight through the day with that student or students, and there's just no off time for you. So giving those adequate breaks, um, also ensuring that the staff know expectations and goal. What's the expectations of the para? You know, what's expected of them to do? You know, how far is too far when helping a student? You know, and observe and give positive feedback. You know, with as a as an administrator, you would do that for all of your teachers. So why not for your paras? Why not for your speech pathologist? You know, listen to what they have to say. See if you can give suggestions. If not, ask. You know, learn a little bit and communicate with them. You know, because we have to be there to ensure that all students are going to learn. When